How many times do you walk into a cross-functional meeting and then walk out more confused than ever, not knowing who's going to be responsible for what, finding out that your colleagues have made a decision and it turns out that they didn't consult you and the process is getting confused, the accountability's lost, etc. I can't tell you how many times I've come across this type of situation with my clients. A lot of times it could be operations versus sales, or maybe it's the planning versus implementation. The problem is that sometimes teams are being evaluated on different KPIs. If you don't solve these kind of issues, they start snowballing and the communication gets lost and it's reflected in the results. I've had situations like this, and there's a few things that we can do in order to decrease these type of frustrating issues where things get jumbled into knots. One of the things that really helps is to break the mold of the silo mentality by making sure that the conversations flow cross-functionally. So for example, there was one young woman who was working with the marketing department. Marketing would want to do something, but sales might say that's not feasible. So what she would do is, instead of starting the marketing program or the marketing strategy without consulting sales, she made sure that she had periodic meetings with sales in order to make sure that they were aligned from the get-go. Sometimes these are things that you have to think of doing yourself. It's not like somebody's going to come down and tell you this is how things are done. We can't guess. We can't read each other's minds. And I know that we're always kind of stuck in our same lane. But I would encourage anyone to make sure that you are touching base with those colleagues that are involved in some part of the process chain. So, for example, if you are in sales, make sure that you have, especially like if you're in some kind of technical industry, making sure that when you're having those conversations with your stakeholders, with the, project managers, etc., that you are making sure that some of those stakeholders who will be implementing the product or service are involved in that conversation, so you don't have that embarrassing moment when you have to come back and say, I told you the wrong thing. So one simple thing that we can all do is make sure that we're having more constant and open conversations with our stakeholders in different cross-functional areas. A bonus would even be maybe spending a day or an afternoon finding out what the processes those colleagues go through, so you can have a bigger picture and be able to jointly come up with solutions and strategies instead of trying to do damage control later on. So again, how to fix the silo mentality: open and constant communication cross-functionally with the different stakeholders, creating a little bit of empathy and listening to what the pain points are of the different areas, so that together with the global information that you have between all of you, you can come up with solutions that will benefit the whole organization.